You know, in every crypto cycle, you get these classic debates. It's always Bitcoin versus Ethereum, or maybe Solana versus Cardano. But as we're all gearing up for 2025, there's one matchup that's really starting to get interesting, and that's Hedera's HBAR versus Stellar's XLM.
All right, let's just get right into it. And look, let's forget about what might happen in 2035 for a second. The real, tangible opportunity for most of us is going to be in the next 12 to 24 months. So the question is really simple. If you had a bet on one to really shine in this next cycle, which one is it going to be?
Okay, so first things first, let's size up these two contenders and just look at the raw numbers. It's always good to get a clear baseline. As it stands, Hedera's market cap is floating around that $10 billion mark. Meanwhile, Stellar is sitting in the mid-single billions. Now, just on paper, that smaller size for Stellar means it has, theoretically, a lot more room to run, more potential for that explosive growth. But we all know that in crypto, where a project is today doesn't really define where it could be tomorrow. Both of these are still kind of on the ground floor. And the potential highs, well, they could be skyscraper high. And hey, if you need a little history lesson on this, you don't have to look any further than Cardano. Think back to 2020. Its market cap was in a range that is, well, it's eerily similar to where HBAR and XLM are right now. And I think we all remember what happened next. That's right, a 59x move. Cardano went on an absolute tear, hitting a peak market cap of nearly $95 billion. It's just a perfect example of the kind of insane potential we're talking about for coins in this specific weight class. But look, numbers, they only tell half the story. In the world of crypto, it's the narrative, the story behind the coin that really moves the money. So what's Stellar's story? Well, it's incredibly clear. It's the proven survivor. The whole narrative is built around one thing: fast, cheap, global payments. It's got real-world adoption through its partnership with MoneyGram. Plus, it's aligned with ISO 20022, which is basically the new global language for banks. It's positioning itself to be the rails that the future financial system runs on. Now, Hedera's story, it's completely different. This is the breakout platform. The narrative here is all about enterprise-grade infrastructure that can handle, well, pretty much anything. Tokenization, gaming, supply chains, you name it. And it's governed by absolute heavyweights like Google, IBM, and Boeing. This kind of limitless platform story, it gives investors a blank canvas to imagine massive future growth, and that is what attracts that speculative mania. And this brings us right to the core thesis for each of these coins. It's really a classic tale of two totally different approaches to investing. It's the high-flying moonshot versus the steady, reliable anchor. Hedera, without a doubt, is your moonshot. It's got this powerful platform narrative that, frankly, is still pretty underappreciated by the market. That creates the potential for a massive delayed breakout. If that story finally catches fire, the upside could be absolutely life-changing. And then in the other corner, you've got Stellar as your anchor. It's reliable, it's proven, it's been standing for a decade. Now, the explosive upside might not be as high, but the certainty that it's going to survive and perform, that is much higher. So here's the trade-off, laid out plain and simple. HBAR, it offers that mind-blowing 20 to 50x potential, but it demands patience. You have to have the conviction to hold it through these long, quiet periods. On the other hand, XLM offers a really solid 10 to 20x return, but it demands discipline. The discipline to not get distracted and go chase after shinier, newer things while it just quietly grinds higher. Okay, so let's zoom out for a minute. This next cycle, that's not the finish line. The bigger question is, what do these projects look like by the end of the decade? Who has the stamina to actually become a household name by 2030? For Hedera, there are really three key things that could unlock all of its suppressed potential. First, what you could call retail rediscovery. That's the moment the average crypto buyer wakes up and realizes what it is. Second, the utility catalyst, when its amazing tech starts powering more and more apps that people actually use. And finally, scarcity.
As the token unlocks slow down, the price will finally be able to move more freely.
So you put all that together, and the bull case for HBAR by 2030, well, you're looking at a potential run into the $3 to $5 range, maybe even higher. From today's prices, that represents a massive 15 to 50x return. Now, it's not a guarantee, of course, but it is absolutely on the table.
Now, Stellar, it plays a different game. It doesn't need some massive breakout moment. It just needs to endure. And its staying power really comes from three things. It's in the payments industry, which is a multi-trillion-dollar evergreen business. It has strong name recognition in a super crowded market. And its focus has always been on gradual, real-world growth, which builds an incredibly solid foundation. So, what's a realistic 2030 bull case for XLM? We're probably talking about a price somewhere between $2 and $5. That's a 5 to 12x return. See? It's not as explosive as Hedera's moonshot potential, but it's far more reliable, and it's built on a decade of just surviving and building.
So after all that, what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's a smart play. Well, maybe it's not about picking a winner at all. Maybe the smartest move is to hold both. You're hedging against different market outcomes, and this is just as important, you're hedging against your own investor psychology.
So the strategy is actually dead simple. 1. You stack a bag of HBAR for that explosive high reward potential. 2. You stack a bag of XLM for its proven reliability and stability. And 3. You just let time do the heavy lifting. You avoid the temptation to get shaken out by all the noise and the boredom. Ultimately, this whole debate reminds us of a really crucial lesson in this space. The race isn't always about who's the fastest out of the gate. It's about who is still running, and running strong when all the dust finally settles. So the real question for you is, which of these powerful stories, which one will you choose to be a part of?